the printing presses that the Tyke company used. And they, at the height of the company, they had 30 of these printing presses going at the same time.
Those are huge.
And they were 30 feet long, 10 feet high, and 10 feet wide.
Wow.
And the presses were on the second floor, and the paper was actually on the first floor. So it was fed up through the floor, and it went through the press, came out the other end, and was lowered back down onto the first floor, and that's where they did the cutting. They cut them apart because they printed more than one at a time. They did a series of them.
That's a lot of work for each one.
And yeah, they were cut apart and then gotten ready for shipping down on the first floor.
I like the mustache this guy has.
Yes.
It's very amusing.
And then
what's this?
And this is a postcard exchange. This is where you went to buy your postcards. And you can see that it's really a popular thing to do. You made an afternoon of it. People went out and they had chairs and you could sit and go through and select your postcards.
It's so pretty too. The streamers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It makes it look like so festive.
Right.
It's really pretty.
It was fun.
Yeah. It's like a candy store. So, at the museum, how popular is the collection? Like, how many people come in?
Well, we get people from all over the world that use the collection. And there's a number of ways they can do that. We have about 35,000 images online. So people can go out there and do some research on their own. We do get people that come in. We handle about 1,700 research requests every year. Wow. And we get all kinds of people. We get deltiologists, and I don't know if you know what that is.
Nope.
That's a postcard collector.
Oh.
They're called deltiologists.
You learned a new word.
Yeah. And picture researchers, so people that are doing books or magazines, they'll contact us to find images to use in those.
Some inspiration and everything?
Well, they can actually purchase them from us. They can get a scanned image, and then they pay a usage right, and they can use that in whatever material they want.
That's really cool.
So historians use us, genealogists, students. If you were working on a research paper, you could go out online and use our online collection. And there are low-res images out there, but you can certainly use any of those in a paper. They'd work just fine.
Do you get field trips from schools?
We have a whole education department, and yes, they do a lot of school groups in the mornings usually. We open at 10, and we start school groups at 9.
That's really cool. So, what is your favorite postcard or postcards, and why?
It's really hard to pick one favorite.
I'm sure.
Because in the collection, we physically have several million postcards. Mm-hmm. So I did bring one of my favorites. This is Rosie's Auto Graveyard. And this, I forget where this is. It's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And what I like about this card is this is from about 1919.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's like carriages and everything.
Right. So automobiles haven't been around all that long. But, you know, as soon as there were automobiles, there were crashes. So there had to be a place for all the wrecked ones to go. So this one's just always been one of my favorites.
That's cool, yeah.
I have some in my personal collection, family photos. A lot of people don't realize that there are real photo postcards. Kodak made a camera where you could make your own postcards. Oh. And so a lot of people don't realize in their family photos that they actually have postcards. They're not really looking at the back. So if you go home and go through your family's cards, you might find some postcards.
I'll have to do that now.
But I have one of my grandmother on her first communion. And then I have one of my grandfather and his brother when they were little boys. And those are both postcards. And so those are two of my other favorites.
That's really nice to have it at home. Mm-hmm. Everything is postcards.
Yeah.
So your job, which has a very long title to pronounce, what, in your opinion, is the best and worst part of your job? Well, the best part is I work with a group of wonderful people.
everyone is very fun. We have a good time. Everyone's very talented and creative. So it's really makes going to work a pleasure. But it's really rewarding to me to help people find things that they're looking for. And in our, let me pull out another couple of things here. In our collection, we not only have the postcards, but for the Tyke Company, we have a lot of the production files that were used to create the postcards. So sometimes we have people working on research requests and they'll want to see the original materials that were used to create the postcard, and that's always a lot of fun. And I brought this one. This is a copy of a photograph that was in that production file.
Oh, wow.
So you can see that this building is actually under construction.
Right.
Okay. But from the Tyke Company, they took that photo under construction, and they had an art department
with their computer,
that,
like in the future.
They did airbrushing.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of work.
They all had their hoses at their desk, and they did their airbrushing, and that's how, pre-Photoshop, that's how they had to create this card. So from an unfinished building, their art department finished the building and landscaped it for the postcard. That's so this
cool.
way, the hotel could have this card ready for opening day.
I think that's really cool.
Now the worst part of the job, we do get a lot of donations from people, which are wonderful. We've really added to the collection in that way because we have the core collection from the Tyke Company, but we also have the postcards printed by Detroit Publishing Company, by V.O. Hammond Publishing Company, and then just thousands and thousands and thousands of cards printed by other companies or real photo postcards. But the worst part is when you're going through a collection that's come in. Sometimes
they take a long
people
time.
People will find boxes in someone's garage. If they're moving, there's a box of postcards that's been in the garage and they give it to us. So they're dirty and dusty and smelly, and sometimes they have mold on them.
Oh, that's pretty gross.
So that's the unfun part of the job, is actually going through that material.
Well, that's all the time we have, I'm afraid. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This is
My pleasure.
Chris Pyle again, and this is the A-List. Thank you.